The Frozen North, Episode 72, Novastar.
Hello and welcome to episode number 72 of the Frozen North Gaming Podcast. My name is JJ and I'm here with my two friends.
Howdy, y'all! Oh, Jesus.
Dude.
Woo! That hurt my ears.
The best part about that was that he scared himself.
I heard a crackle in my
Yeah,
headphones.
he actually made the speakers go, ow.
My name is Mark.
Allegedly.
If you don't believe me at this point.
And my name is Brian.
All right, guys.
No one can see that face you're making.
Well, they can hear the inflection.
Yeah, let's talk about things that no one can see. Mark.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I'm talking to this guy. No, you weren't. There's no guy there. Oh, man, we are the Frozen North Gaming Podcast. We're here to talk about video games today, episode number 72. We are going to be doing an interview with Novastar Gaming, one of the other local gaming centers here out in Kansas City. And we're going to be doing our top 5 games with replay value.
And we're also going to talk a little bit about what makes a game replayable.
True enough.
Yeah.
True enough. So, to get us started off, Mark, what have you been playing?
I have been playing Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Yeah, okay, that's not interesting. Brian.
And I finished the game!
Oh!
Hey!
Hey.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was really good. The ending cutscene, I think there's like 4 possible endings you can get in the game, and it was very moving. It was very insightful about the future of technology and how it relates to humans. And I did not get my pacifist run. I didn't get the achievement for being a pacifist.
Oh.
Because I killed those guys and I just gave up on that.
Well, you can always go back and play it again.
Nah, I'm not going to do that. After I killed a few people and just gave up, I started like becoming a major hacker, and I would like take over turrets and just throw turrets into rooms and let them kill everyone for me.
I had to look really quick to make sure that game wasn't on his replay
Yeah.
list, because that'd be funny if you said, no, I'm not going to play it again.
I think a lesson that Mark learned, because Mark is a known and accused save scummer. I think in this instance he learned the value of not save scumming and just living with the decisions.
But I still save scummed.
It's living with the mistakes and the decisions that you make.
But I still save scummed.
But why, at that point, why?
Because, man, if I didn't use any of my heavy weapons, I want to. If I kill everyone without using all my good stuff, I want to save those things for the boss.
Okay.
You gotta save.
That all you've been playing? One game?
Yeah.
That's pretty terrible.
Hey, but you know what came out? You know what came out this week? City Skylines After Dark.
But you haven't played it. Is that like just strip clubs and stuff that you put in?
Nope.
I don't get it.
It's other things too.
It's that and other things.
I don't know.
He
You
backtracked.
say so, man. This is a...
I don't know. I actually don't know what exact.
Look, the city manager's got to have a release too, man. You know, I got to have a place to go and just chill.
I don't know. You create like new entertainment districts and stuff.
Yeah,
and
apparently.
it brings more crime and yeah.
That it?
I mean, sure, yeah.
He hasn't played it yet, so he wouldn't.
I can't really talk about it.
Unbelievable.
I just like to force this topic whenever I can.
Understandable.
I've been playing Final Fantasy XI still, and I got, for those of you that have played it, I got rank 10 Windurst, finally, which I'm stoked for, because that means I completed the Windurst storyline, which is one of the 3 starting cities. And I've started kind of just doing a couple other things in there, and basically I'm playing that and watching Parks and Rec at the same time, which
Very
is
similar.
fantastic. And I also beat Fire Emblem Awakening, the Fire Emblem on the 3DS. And talking about a game with replay value, it is phenomenal. There's so many different avenues that you can take, and honestly, right when I beat it, I kind of wanted to go back and start over again and try different decisions and try to have different couples get together to see which kids come out of that. And I mean, it's so cool. The story of the game, I mean, it's Fire Emblem. The Fire Emblem's never really been known for the main story, but more so for the character interactions, and this game did not disappoint at all. So highly recommended if you're looking for a good tactical JRPG on the 3DS. or if you're just looking for a good tactical JRPG at all, it's fantastic. Beyond that, a little bit of Witcher 2, which I hopefully will get to play a little bit more today. So, Brian?
I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV while grinding for Esoteric's gear. If you've played it, you know what that means. And watching Parks and Rec, funny enough, on Netflix, doing that. And got my Dark Knight, level 60 is my main, and then level 59, I believe, on my Dragoon. So I've almost got 2 max level characters on that. And then in my spare time after that, actually the bulk majority of the time, I have been playing GTA 5. I dove into that about a week ago, and it is making me wonder why I waited so long to play it. But it's the same. I say that with every game I start up in my collection. Game. Well, I say, I always do that. Like I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll try out GTA 5, and then I play it. I'm like, why did I wait so long? But honestly, it's having first world problems of having a backlog as big as mine. But GTA 5, I'm about halfway done, and it is. Oh man, it's good.
Nice.
Yep.
All right. If you would like to get a hold of us and just kind of join in on the discussion, talk about anything you want, you can always email us at frozennorthpodcast@gmail.com. Our website is fngaming.net. Our Facebook is facebook.com/thefrozennorth. Our Twitter is @fnpodcast. Our blog is frozennorthpodcast.blogspot.com. And we are on iTunes, where we would love for you to go, subscribe to, and rate us. Just tell us what you like. And what you don't like.
Yeah.
Just what you think in general.
Yeah.
Happy to hear it.
We love feedback. Feedback is really good.
Yep. For sure. And if you have a top 5 list you want to send us, you want to tell us why our top 5 list is stupid and doesn't belong, you want to tell Mark to play more than 2 games in his entire life.
No.
I mean, no.
No.
That's too much.
I don't need more people bossing me around.
Oh, man. If that's not a cry for help, folks, I don't know what is. Brian, what do we got for news this week?
All right, guys, we got news this week. We're going to be talking about Microsoft acquiring Havok. It's a physics. Yeah. It's a physics and animation middleware. It's from Intel. This is kind of if you're a gamer, you've definitely seen their logo.
It's like 500 games,
600 games in the past 15 years. So you've definitely played a game with the Havok. I wouldn't call it an engine. It's a physics engine, basically, only.
It drops into other engines.
Correct. It's a drop-in. Some notable games that Havok has powered are Destiny, Inquisition, which is Dragon Age Inquisition, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Infamous Second Son, and Microsoft's own Crackdown 3. So it's been around for 15 years, obviously. Pretty good news for Microsoft. I mean, nice to have a pretty well-known physics drop-in at that, I guess. Good.
You said it's powering the upcoming Crackdown game?
Yes. Yep.
I wonder if this is going to be like them showcasing what Havok plus their Azure cloud service can do together.
The
Crackdown is definitely going to be the case maker for that.
In the article, they actually did mention Azure cloud service. They're going to try to marry them,
offloading the heavy physics computations to the cloud.
You bet.
Yeah,
you bet. This next article of Newsage is right up Mark O'Malley's alley.
Another City Skylines.
No,
expansion.
Square Enix adjusted the Deus Ex Mankind Divided pre-order plan, augment your pre-order following some pretty harsh backlash, basically.
Yeah.
So what this was Square Enix came out with a tiered. We have all seen tiered pre-order plans before. The way this worked is, as the community pre-ordered the game more, it unlocked different rewards that you could choose from, which was no one liked that, because what if one got, you're literally locking content out for people for pre-ordering. So everybody was like,
right.
Well, I don't want to choose. If I pre-order it, I want all the damn content in this thing. Huge Twitter backlash, just constant scrutiny. So Square Enix completely they redid the whole structure. They even had a tiered release plan for the game that they've scrubbed as well. Here's their actual quote. This is from Square Enix. We've spent a lot of time reading through all of your comments, working to understand how we can try to make things right for you. After much thought and reflection, we decided to close down the program and make all incentive content available to anyone who pre-orders Deus Ex Mankind Divided or purchases day one edition of the game. That was probably the right move in the first place. The release date is now fixed at February 23rd of 2016, and Square Enix is no longer going to be releasing the pre-order bonus of 4 days earlier based on that. So, yeah, people don't like that kind of stuff. Don't want content out for people who want to back your... I mean, that's just bad strategy.
If you're trying to reward people for pre-ordering your game, don't slap them in the face while you're doing it.
Saying, okay, you get to pick. No. So that's gone. And then Star Wars Battlefront opens beta starting on October 8th. So, whoa. It's going to be only open for 4 days between the 8th and the 12th. Players will have access to 3 gameplay modes, which include the 40-person, basically, Battle of Hoth, where you have the ATs on rails going towards the generators, while the teams battle for, you know how the battle goes. They're going to have an 8 versus 8 capture the flag style match called Drop Zone, and they're also going to have a solo/co-op horde mode/survival mode where you get constant waves of enemies as you try to stay alive. The full version of the game will be hitting shelves on November 17th.
Does it say what system, or is it everything?
It's open beta
cool.
on all systems.
Nice.
So I would assume that just means PS. They're just coming out on PS4 and Xbox One, right? And computer. Is that what I'm hearing?
As far as I know.
Yeah. I mean, this article didn't necessarily mention what systems. It's just saying that the open beta was between the 8th and the 12th. So lock and load, guys, and help them fix that game if it has any problems. That's what betas are for. All right, moving on to, I guess it's kind of gaming-related news, but I wanted to put it in there because it said Mass Effect in it, and I'm a Mass Effect hard. Mass Effect is going to get its own theme park attraction. You heard that right, guys. California's Great America Theme Park and Electronic Arts are teaming up to bring real-life Mass Effect experience to the masses.
Is it just going to be like going all throughout the galaxy?
Mark, visitors will ride Commander Shepard's ship, the SSV Normandy, in an experience that blends 3D effects with live-action performance.
Nice.
The ride will also incorporate both 3D and 4D effects.
Nope.
We're going to be in 4D space.
Nope. I can't go now.
I know, dude. 4D space, guys. So we are actually going to be meeting the developers of this game that we call Life.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, and then the last bit of the last article, it actually dropped. You guys probably know about this, but I want to get into details on this one because this is a kind of a big deal for video gaming. This dropped actually, I think, a couple days after our last podcast was released. The voice actors for gaming, they're part of SAG-AFTRA, which stands for the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists.
Jeez.
Yeah, they are basically talking about voting on striking, saying that they are not being paid enough. So let's go into some of the details. I'm going to read this off here, and then we're going to take a small second to talk about it. But a quote from SAG-AFTRA, basically on their blog or FAQ, whatever it is that they're calling it these days, they said, quote, "We're asking for a reasonable performance bonus for every 2 million copies for downloads sold, or 2 million unique subscribers to online-only games, with a cap at 8 million units of subscribers." That's what the union writes. They say that shakes out potentially to 4 bonus payments for the most successful games: 2 million, 4 million, 6 million, 8 million copies. They don't have any details on what that bonus entails, but it seems pretty fair as far as, you're a contributing member to the game's success being rewarded for its success. I don't know the details of how much they're wanting, so I can't make a judgment on whether or not the money's accurate. But additionally, SAG-AFTRA is looking for stunt pay. This is in regards to actors who also do mocap for the game. Mocaps come back in a big way now that they've got that dot technology, like the painting dot technology. They can, you old mocap, you had little wiffle balls on your head. Now they've got literally little dots all over your face. I think Ellen Page was in that game that had that in Tomb Raider, had that technology going. So they want basically stunt bonuses because they're actually physically performing for those, not just using their voice. And they want some more skrill for that. And then there's a lot of big names attached to this. I'm sure you've heard of a lot of them. Some of the actors include Will Wheaton, Phil Lamar, Jennifer Hale, Ashley Birch, and Steve Bloom. And basically they're all on Twitter trying to organize and vote on a strike.
I didn't hear everyone's most famous. I was trying to say famous and favorite at the same time. Last of Us.
Troy Baker?
Yeah.
I mean, him and Nolan North weren't mentioned in this, but they're probably right at the center of it.
I mean, they're everyone's favorite voice actors, right?
Wow. Guys, what do you think? If this happens, gonna be some pretty janky voice acting for a while in games that are being developed now. If they can't pay their, this just has to do with.
I don't know. It's kind of weird that they want blanket rules for the entire industry, or is that not weird?
No,
I don't know. I don't know very well.
I honestly don't feel like that's the best way to go about it. I don't think it should be blanket rules. I think it should be, you're going to be a part of this project. We will draw up the contract, and if there's a possibility of something like that where they get, I think that's more than fair. Right. To be able to get a little bit more money for how well the game is doing, especially if it's like being touted as, oh, this person's voice acting one of the characters, like that's a selling point. You should get a little bit more.
Absolutely, but if it's like if it's Dota and it's some voiceover pack that you downloaded, should they get giant bonuses every 2 million people that play it?
I think it needs to be just a case by case basis.
You have to remember though, guys, SAG-AFTRA is a union. So they don't work in case by case basis. I don't know. I think that there is some precedent here to maybe make it universal on some regards. They definitely need to maybe think about that whole the mocap performance bonuses.
But what does that do for someone like Bethesda, who needs to have 100 voice actors or 200 voice actors?
Like I said,
in their open world game, so it doesn't sound like you're hearing the same guy over and over again.
Yeah, this is a big deal because it's going to adversely affect budgets for games, because you're going to have a set budget, and if you can't afford to pay those bonuses, you can't hire the actors. So you have to go with people that maybe aren't in SAG-AFTRA, which most of the big names are.
Show enough.
Yeah.
All right, we got anything else?
That's it, guys. News for this week. Lovely. Love you all. Brian's news reading is
okay.
I thought you did well.
Mark, thank you.
See, that's one. All right. we recently had the opportunity to go sit down with the guys over at Novastar Gaming, another local gaming center out here in Kansas City. And let's not beat around the bush. Let's get right to it. So, without any further ado, let's head over to us in the other studio in the future. JJ, take it away. All right, we are here at Novastar Gaming. Why don't you introduce yourselves a little bit and tell us a little bit about Novastar?
Hi, my name's Jeff Wilson. I'm the owner. And, welcome.
All right, cool.
My first podcast.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Believe me, you're probably just as good as we are at it, because we don't hold ourselves in very high regard. So.
And my name's Justin, and I'm Jeff's brother, and I help him out with the gaming center.
Awesome. Family business?
Well, yeah, I'd say pretty much. Although I got a lot of help from friends and stuff, too, that come in and help us on technical issues and stuff.
And they get to play.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
There's the trade-off.
Heck yeah. Do you guys yourselves have any background in gaming or anything like that?
Well, yeah. I pretty much been playing games for a long time. So, it all started with my father, who one day when I was little brought home an Atari home computer, and everybody plays Atari at one point or another.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or the arcade versions.
Yep.
Absolutely.
At most of these places.
So are you a big fan of the older stuff, the old school stuff?
Well, yeah. I did like a lot of the older games and stuff. Asteroids. Yeah, I blame my father for getting me hooked on that.
Oh, and Jeff's big in, he was big in arcade too. When we were little, he used to spend hours up at the Quick Trip playing.
Oh, I think we all did.
The arcades there.
Well, I think that's what's cool about these places. It's kind of like the return of the social gaming, rather than staying at home.
Oh, absolutely. This is the arcade of this day and age.
The arcade, you still got like Dave and Buster's and stuff, but they've really kind of gone away since.
Yeah, you don't really have like I mean, any arcade that I've been to, like actual arcade that I've been to in recent years, I can't remember any time like it used to be where you'd have somebody doing really good on Donkey Kong or really good on Asteroids or something, and you had the whole entire place crowding around him, looking at the screen, being like cheering him on and stuff like that. You just don't see that anymore. But I have seen that in these kinds of places. That happens.
We've got to remember that, I mean, a lot of the arcades of today, like, I mean, you talked about Dave and Buster's, and a lot of that's geared towards a lot of older.
You bet.
I mean, like us. I mean, I've been to Dave and Buster's. I love Dave and Buster's. But,
Right.
I mean, a lot of this generation is into the games that's on the PC and consoles that are just, it's what drives them.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Just because everything it's kind of like you don't have to switch machines to go to a new game and that kind of stuff. It's all just
Right there.
a one-stop shop for all your gaming needs. Justin, any crazy gaming history on your end?
I'm more of a casual gamer. I do like Street Fighter,
There you go.
Ninja Turtles arcade.
Oh,
Classic.
never get tired of that game. Oh man,
I think everyone wants one of those arcades in their basement.
I ever
At least
get
in my
rich, that's the
generation.
first thing I buy. Well, not the first thing. I'm sure food will be the first thing I
Right.
buy.
Well,
But
you get to
you know.
live off of food.
yeah, oh my gosh, I get so many stories about Ninja Turtles arcade growing up as a kid, and when I finally got it on my Nintendo, oh man, beating that game so many times. So tell us a little bit about Novastar itself. Like, how'd you guys get started? What drove you to make it a gaming center? Just anything you can tell us about it.
Well, I worked at Quick Trip for 21 years, and 1 year while I was on vacation, I stopped in another gaming center in another city, and I was like, "What? How come Kansas City doesn't have anything like this?"
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that place, it was pretty hopping, and I was like, Kansas City would be so perfect for that. And I mean, it stuck in my mind for quite a while, until finally I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I mean, for a long time, I remember all my friends would come over to my house and we would have LAN parties,
Heck yeah.
you know, and we'd joke about things like this. And then when I mentioned it, all my friends were like, let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've had a lot of support from friends and family, and I was like, this is what I want to do.
Heck yeah. I think the main difference is, like, because I think we've all had that conversation with our friends. Like, we should totally open up a big LAN center, and it'll be awesome because we'll have all our friends there. We'll all play games and stuff like that. Nobody does it, though.
Yeah.
You guys have shown that if it does happen, it's freaking awesome. I mean, we've played here. We came here for the Shinra thing, and we talked about that a few episodes back. And, I mean, every time we've been up here, we've had an absolute blast. And it's just, I mean, these kind of atmospheres are just great for anybody who, we've said this a million times over, it's great for anybody who is trying to, you know, shed that typical gamer stereotype of just sitting in your mom's basement and eating Cheetos and drinking Mountain Dew and stuff. It's like, no, because now there are other people that I can talk to about these games. I can go out to a place like Novastar and just hang out, talk about stuff, go to tournaments. And I mean, you guys are having a League of Legends tournament later today.
Yeah.
And if I could, I would stay and watch. I don't even play League, but I have seen League of Legends tournaments, and they are so freaking entertaining to just watch and get into because everybody gets so fired up.
I can relate with it. I don't play League, but man, I got a big screen TV right here just to spectate.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
He's got
See?
his own personal big screen TV.
Yeah, it's oh man, yeah, I would stay if I could for sure.
I want to say, going back to how we got started, when Jeff got the idea that Kansas City needed a gaming center, there wasn't anything like this here. We went to some other cities. We checked out a gaming center in Denver, one in Albuquerque, and they were really nice. And, you know, that's what we wanted to bring here, because before there was a gaming center here in Kansas City a couple years back in Olathe, and looking at pictures of those folding tables and folding chairs. So we wanted to do something nicer, you know, but still make it affordable for gamers, you know, all types of gamers to come.
Absolutely. That was kind of like when I hear about these kinds of places opening up, I remember those game centers that were here before, and it was just, you know, somebody's back room, and the one that I used to go to wasn't even a gaming center. It was a place for like tabletop games and board games and that kind of stuff. And they literally just had like 4 computers set up in the back that you could pay, you know, $10 an hour to go play on for a little bit. And then they had, you know, 3 games on there or something like that. Not Minesweeper,
Solitaire.
but they had like Counter-Strike and stuff. But I mean, to go from that to seeing a place like this is just mind-boggling. It's amazing, and yeah, I mean, it's what this city needs.
It's what we grew
More
up with.
cities
I mean,
need
yeah,
it.
you know, 80s and 90s, the arcade system, and then it kind of went away when everything went online. But now it's kind of coming back because everyone wants to cheer. I mean, esports is growing huge.
Oh yeah,
so everybody wants to watch people play now. So it's pretty exciting.
absolutely.
Oh, and I think the esports community is
Yep.
what a lot of that is pushing for the gaming, because esports has gotten so
It's starting to
popular,
explode.
Yeah.
and everybody is so competitive.
Oh yeah.
That's what it's all about.
So speaking of that, how do you guys feel about the gaming community in Kansas City specifically, and what can Novastar bring to that table?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of people in Kansas City that really want to get into competitive esports and stuff. I mean, like a couple weeks ago, I had a father bring in his son. He was looking for the Dota 2 community, and they went to the championship in Seattle. They had
Wow.
all the gear on. He was like, I took my son to this, and we're trying to look for people for him to do
Yeah.
games with. So, but I mean, it's hard to find anybody in
Yeah.
Kansas City, because I mean, where is
So-
everybody? It's hard to find
Yeah,
those
Playing
people.
at
that's-
home.
Definitely.
That's kind of like our mission, is to connect these people. You know, there might be a group of Dota players in Independence and
Yeah.
some in Olathe, and you know, the whole mission is try to connect them together and help them find each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're basically making a centralized location for these people to
Right.
come and meet. And I mean, if you're trying to meet these other people who are playing Dota in that situation, are you going to just put an ad in the newspaper, or are you going to go to a freaking gaming center where other
Right.
people are playing games?
And and you guys said that you guys saw a gaming center in Denver, and the joke in Kansas is, "Oh, hey, I'm from Kansas City," and they're always like, "What's there to do in Kansas City?"
Yeah,
and,
what is there?
Well, I'm a gamer, and I figure most people, here in Colorado, you can climb mountains, go hiking, and you can do that here, but it'd be incredibly boring. So I just feel like
Just an example, we have a friend who moved here from Ohio, and he was like, so Kansas City isn't all flat.
right.
It's actually
it still is,
Yeah, it's
but
still pretty
there's
flat, but-
there's stuff to do now. Finally,
So Kansas City is just a hotbed of gamers. Because what else? I mean, if you're a guy who is looking for entertainment, I mean, it's game. That's what we do.
And you think, and Kansas City is like the hotbed for technology.
Yeah.
I mean, everything comes here to get started for
Yeah.
technology.
Now that we got the Google Fiber and everything, like we just went to an event Thursday at the Google Fiber space. NVIDIA was showcasing their Shield console and their new, they call it their Netflix video game
Right.
service they just launched.
yeah.
I forget what they call it. But
Well, and we have constant dialogue on the show about video game streaming is kind of the wave of the future, but the only barrier to that being internet speeds. So
Yep.
having Google Fiber is probably a huge boon for that.
And I mean, you guys, that's one of your biggest draws, that you have Google Fiber here. Brian and I got to experience that last time when we were here. We were playing Final Fantasy 14, and there was a big
incredible.
patch that we had to download, and we're like, all
We're
right,
used to our speeds.
we're not sure if we want to do this because we don't want to tie up their bandwidth and stuff like that. And you guys were just like, just do it, you're fine.
Took
We're like,
like 9
all right, and then it just went up. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm like,
all right.
I'm like, I can wait an hour, and then I looked at the timer. I'm like, oh, it's going to take 9 minutes.
Yeah, it was
It
insane.
was crazy.
Yeah, I remember when I first got Google Fiber, I played a lot of like DayZ. I was really big into DayZ.
yeah.
I joined an online clan and stuff, and one of my friends was having trouble installing one of the mods for it, and I was like, it's no problem. Just we'll just completely start over, uninstall it, and then reinstall it, and let me know when you're done. And he's like, okay. So he uninstalls it and he's like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then somebody else who was on our voice chat was like, Jeff, not everybody has gigabit internet.
It's very true.
I was like, oh, man, I'm sorry. All right.
It's
All
one of
right.
those- yeah, it's one of the things you don't realize how fast it is until you actually try it out.
That is, I never even thought about that, but you're right. There's going to be a lot more of that where it's like, I mean, we that's always been like a last resort thing, is uninstalling a game and then reinstalling it.
Sure.
And now it's going to be like, well, did you try uninstalling, reinstalling? Yeah, all right, give me 10 minutes. I'll go check that out
Yeah,
real
1
quick, see
second.
if it,
Yeah, no problem.
So that's interesting. I never even thought about that, but that's true. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I see a lot of players come in and they sit down and they get going in their game and they check their ping and they're like, yes.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I know I've been there before.
Yep.
Okay, so since you guys have opened, are there certain games standing out against others as far as what people like to play?
Oh my gosh, Super Smash Bros. Man,
Really?
there is such a huge community for Super Smash Bros. In Kansas City. It just amazes me. I mean, we got a tournament tomorrow for Super Smash Bros. And I'm like, okay.
Is that for the new one on Wii U?
Yeah, on the Wii U.
Wow, awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember before we opened and we bought our Wii U's, a couple friends, we told them about Smash Brothers, and they kind of scoffed, like, that's for little kids. No serious people are going to come for that. But it's huge.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a huge thing.
That's crazy.
It's had a huge following.
I ended up going buying another Nintendo just for that. I
Yep.
was like, yep.
Oh,
Might
that's
as well
cool.
Stock up.
I imagine League is probably pretty big too.
Oh, yeah. I think League is big everywhere.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
It's just,
It really is.
that's the first MOBA that I hear about when everybody, do you have League of Legends? Yes, we do.
Yep. I'm pretty sure the World Championships are being broadcast on ESPN.
Oh, yeah. They're going on right now, I
Yep.
think.
Yep.
That's so insane.
Isn't that weird?
And it's just funny that neither one of us play this game.
Oh, I know.
at
But
all.
isn't it weird that literally ESPN is
Yep.
broadcasting an esport?
Blows me away.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you guys? Have you guys tried anything new since you opened, or have you been getting more play time on games that you played beforehand?
I think I spend more time making sure everybody's good on and everything works for them, that they know how to use everything.
Right.
Running the actual business.
Yeah,
So you are a good
I think
owner.
I play less games now. Every once in a
Ironic.
while, when there's
Ironically, yeah.
nobody around, I'll sit down and I'm like, what's this? H1Z1. I'm a big zombie apocalypse game player.
Heck yeah.
Playing those.
Jeff really did get into that Space Sweeper game at the Shinra event, though.
Oh, we had so much
That
fun
was
with
such
that.
a fun
Oh
game.
yeah, I did. Oh my gosh, I did get out.
Yeah, that was an incredible experience.
I think it's safe to say you're a better owner than I would be for sure. Because I would people would walk in and I would just be like,
Yeah.
help yourself, you're good.
This
Fine.
would be just like, guys, let's make a gaming center. We'd get it all set up, and then people would walk in and be like, who do we talk to? And we're like, well, he's busy at the moment. He's playing, so just go find a seat.
Hey, Jeff, what do you think is the biggest game that people have been looking forward to coming out, that you've been getting a lot of people asking about?
Star Wars Battlefront.
That's
That's going to be awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I am so excited for that.
Absolutely. I think
The
everybody's-
previews that I've seen, the video, and what they showed at E3
Oh yeah.
just looks spectacular.
Yeah.
Do you guys have people looking for? I'm not trying to start anything here,
Okay.
but do you guys have people asking more about PS4 or Xbox One?
You know, when I first opened, I was like, we'll just have a PS4 because there's not very many people that really game on the Xbox One except for maybe some sports games, I thought. Or I thought the only thing that everybody would play would be Halo.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, so later on, somebody asked, and I asked a couple of kids, so what kind of game machine would you play if I had it at the store? Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'll go buy an Xbox. And
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the Xbox, it gets used more than the PS4.
I would say in this setting that really doesn't surprise me. The
No.
360 was so huge on competitive gaming, and when you've got that as your forefront to go play with your friends, I mean, people already have the Xbox 360 name in their head, so they automatically want to go to Xbox One to play against people.
I would think it's still the whole Xbox is considered the online playing with your friends machine, while PS4 is that
Yeah.
single-player, story-driven experience, which is not true. They're both very capable of both. But
Absolutely.
I think they have still that kind of connotation to them.
Yep.
I knew it was big one after school because I get a pretty good sized crowd of kids after school. They just, because I'm on the same road as all the schools, as soon as school gets out, here they come down the sidewalk, and when they come in, can we have the Xbox One controllers to play FIFA? And they'll
killed.
play that for 2, almost 3 hours straight, and I'm like, do your parents know you're up here?
Yeah, yep. I would have killed for a gaming center to open up near my high school when
Yeah,
I was
no joke.
when I was going to high school. So
Absolutely.
I can imagine it being a treasure trove. So what do you think is next for Novastar? Like, where do you guys envision Novastar? What's your, I guess, long-term goal?
A bigger building to put more computers and consoles for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, I think console has been a lot more popular than we anticipated, and we've added several consoles since we opened, and I think we would really like to, have more room to kind of expand the console availability in addition to the PCs, and we're doing some other things too, just to have a variety of things for people to do if you get bored doing something. Like Jeff brought his Retron console down here where you can play the old NES
that's a
and
good idea.
SNES.
I've got one.
I bet there's a lot of people who have their games in the closet, but maybe their machine broke or something. So we're trying to say bring your games in and you can play our Retron.
Yeah, absolutely.
Smart. There are a lot of retro gamers out there.
Guilty.
Yeah, he's one of
Right
them.
here. Yep.
Yeah, we saw your post of all your
My Super
NES
Nintendo games.
and Super Nintendo
That's
games.
not even all of them. Those were
That's-
just the ones we wanted to put that we wanted to put down that we could fit in the picture.
Yep.
My collection is disgusting.
Yeah, him and my brother have just, and then if you put them together, would make some sort of like gravitational force that would rival like a planet. So and that's not exaggerating. So that you heard it
We
here,
both
folks.
are sitting on quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wow.
I like your brothers too because he has it all like. It's very very display-y.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that a
that's-
word? I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's very show boaty.
all hanging
Which it
on the
should
wall
be.
in a glass case.
Well, he's got like a big stand for the PlayStation era games and a big section for the Nintendo era games and
Big glass case with just
Yeah.
consoles all the way down.
Yep.
It's crazy.
yeah.
It's pretty
cool.
awesome setup.
Yeah, but you guys collect them, and it's my collection's dinky compared. I have most of my games on Steam.
God, ridiculous.
I
Digital.
got a huge Steam library.
Oh yeah,
I do too, to be honest with you. I can't say that I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, some games that's the only place you can get it,
Yeah.
and Steam's a great platform, so
Yep.
can't complain
But
about
there's
it.
something to be said about physical collections. Just
Absolutely.
the majesty of them.
Yeah, I love being able to have a game that I can look at, and I complained about this many times. I like having instruction booklets that I can go through, and even now with physical copies, they're
Yes.
not. I'm not getting into this again
Yep.
because I will go.
Oh,
I will go
no.
on
You
for a
got
while,
it.
man.
I think
Oh.
the thing now is for them to put the copies on the computer for the manual and stuff.
Yep.
I'll go through the box. I'm like, "Where's the instructions?"
Yep.
It's all digital.
And it's all go to
See,
their website to read.
And
the
me,
instructions.
I don't even. When I get something, if I need the instructions, I go straight to the computer to look up the
Yep.
instruction book. I don't even think like, if I get a box with instruction book, I'm like, why is there an instruction book here? It's wasting paper.
You killed a tree.
Yeah,
But what
Mark's over
happens-
there like, yeah.
What happens when the zombie apocalypse does happen, and there's no power, or
He
you're going to
brings
be
up a
looking?
very-
You're
going to
be looking for a paper manual.
Where's the paper manual?
Library of Congress.
There you go.
There you go. Backup
boy.
plan.
That
for the-
Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah, the tooth.
Right.
But for the future, I'd really like to see Kansas City be put on the map for esports.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think there's so much potential here, and I mean, like, as you can see, I got a gamer over here right now. He is like he eats and sleeps League of Legends.
Oh yeah.
And-
As many people do.
yeah, he's here. Oh, he's here all the time now.
We actually got there's actually quite a few gaming celebrities from Kansas City too. I think that
Sure.
I've been reading stuff in the news and stuff like that. There's some big competitive gamers that came from Kansas City.
Day 9. It's the big one.
Well,
Mark.
He's a broadcaster.
Doesn't even know who Day 9 is. But
He's
he's
more of a
huge. Yeah, but he's huge in the gaming
Right.
community.
No,
That's what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, was he? There's nobody there, Mark.
Yeah.
Liar. Yeah.
Mark, okay, so I'm going to paint you a picture. Mark is over here. He's our producer today. And he said, this guy over here was talking to me and pointed to nobody. So we all looked over, and Mark's like, this guy talked to me. And the scene, let me set it for you, was glorious because he turned around and realized nobody was there, but just kind of went with it.
Oh, man.
Thank you, producer.
But I completely agree. I think there's tons of potential for esports here, absolutely, especially with all the tournaments we've seen and the turnouts. Like, it's
Oh, yeah.
mind-boggling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you guys are getting, I mean, wow, there, like you said, there aren't LAN centers in Kansas City, and you guys are, what, one of two right now? So getting in at the ground levels, growing. You guys are technically growing the esports scene in Kansas City. That's you guys are doing a part of that. So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
You know, we was joking the other day. It was like, what if we did something where we had like LAN center battles, where the gaming centers would just like, okay, today we're going to do League of Legends, our 5 against your 5, or you know,
that would be really
That's
cool.
a brilliant idea.
That would be really cool.
I'd like to get all the gaming centers together to do events together eventually. I mean, that's what it's going to take to get something big in Kansas City, I think.
Yep.
Maybe repurpose some old arenas or something into the new esports.
Definitely.
Oh, now you're thinking really big,
No,
Jeff.
but you got to think
Hey.
big. Eventually, we'll be on the moon, and we'll need gaming centers on the moon.
Yeah.
Mars.
What?
Or Mars. Yeah, 'cause
Gotta
Mars is
bet
the
big to win big.
Mars is the fad planet of today right now. So we're I guess Mars. I apologize to all the Martians out there.
Yeah. The moon's old news. We're
Yeah,
we're Mars now.
We're thinking big. That's what
The
we're
moon
doing
is
here.
not a planet.
Oh man. So do you guys have anything to plug that you wanted to kind of just give a shout out to or anything like that?
Any events coming up?
What are
Well, we're gonna try and have more frequent League of Legends events because we think there's a
Definitely
desire
crowd
for
it.
that.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to work on a Counter-Strike tournament in December.
There you go.
I got a lot of younger kids that have been pushed for. I was like, how is Christmas break, winter break for you guys? And they just went crazy.
That's my game.
I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, Counter-Strike.
Yeah. And just some other events. We're planning to do a launch party for.
Oh, yeah, for the
Call
Halo
of-
5 release.
I thought it was Call of Duty. Was
Well, I mean, Call of Duty,
Oh.
too.
Both. There you go.
Both. Yeah.
and
They're really big games.
Oh yeah.
And then just trying to get some other events so gamers can meet each other. We're gonna do we're calling it our Zombie Apocalypse Halloween party.
Nice.
in
Good
The
idea.
October.
local kids love.
And we're gonna give prize for best zombie costume, best
Oh, awesome.
zombie
Heck
hunter.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, very cool.
just some events so gamers can come and meet other gamers and socialize. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what I guess the point of the gaming center.
100%. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Okay. Well, I mean, if you guys don't have anything else, I think we'll call it there. Everybody good? Everybody got anything else?
I'm fantastic.
That's good to hear,
So-
Brian. Thank you.
Right.
All right,
Game
well,
on.
thanks guys for coming out here. and
No,
everything.
thank you guys for taking the time out to do this. We love, first of all, we just love coming out here because, well, we don't get to play today, but normally we would stick around and play.
Yeah. If we didn't have other stuff to do, I'd be I'll be fine.
Yeah, we got to go record more of the episode. But it's always a pleasure coming out here. You guys are so nice and always so welcoming every time we come in here. And I mean, we'll be back for sure.
Oh God, yeah.
So
I work not too far away too. So
Oh, cool.
okay. If nobody's got anything else, we're going to go ahead and turn it back over to ourselves back in the studio. Thank you guys again for taking the time out.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And I'm sure we'll hear from you again.
Oh,
Yep.
yes.
All right. And we're back here at the effing studio. Yep, I made an effing
I
joke
warped
again.
back.
Yes, you did. Impressive.
Thanks, guys. Clap.
I don't. Nope.
Mike, thank you, Mark.
There it is. There's
A single clap heard around the world.
He's gonna clap again. It's just a really slow clap that he started.
Yeah, he's in the process right now, guys. He'll be here soon.
Want to say big thank you to the guys over at Novastar, Justin and Jeff. It was a blast. I mean, I love going up there. It's such a good time. They're really good people, and the place is awesome. NovastarGaming.com. Go check them out, especially if you're in the Kansas City area. Show them some love. Head up there, play a little bit, and just enjoy the atmosphere because they have so much just crammed into this building, and there's so much to do there. It's great.
Mark talked to an invisible guy.
That
I
was weird.
didn't. I
That was
didn't.
weird.
There's a third person there,
We didn't see him.
and he walked away.
So you heard it here, folks. Novastar is so good. Mark talks to himself or some guy.
Nope. No, it's a really cool place.
Nah, it's a really cool place.
That's a cool place. I'm not talking in a weird voice.
You did a little bit.
I mean, when I'm excited, I talk in a weird voice.
Well, you're excited. See.
Yeah. Because you know what? We're going out and we're meeting people and we're seeing the Kansas City gaming community.
Absolutely. Yeah, they had a big League of Legends tournament going on after we recorded there. So it's mind-boggling, like, to see how quickly these things fill up. Like, because, I mean, without these things here, we would never know that there were this many people that would be into this kind of stuff in this area. So if you're in the Kansas City area, by all means, go check them out. Like I said, novastargaming.com. Really great place, great people, and just a good time. So, all right. Today, top 5 list. We haven't done one in like 2 episodes.
I know people. I feel like I've got a pretty good ear to the ground, and I feel like people have been really clamoring for us to do top 5s. I know I felt the buzz.
Yeah.
So we're back with top 5.
People were asking me if we were all right.
Yeah, they were like.
Were they?
Yeah.
Was the guy behind you?
Yes.
So yeah, we're back with top 5, and I know y'all are like, thank you, Frozen North Podcast.
We're back in it. We're talking about replay value today. So what gives a game good replay value?
I mean, for me, and I think you'll find that in a lot of these lists, there's a two-pronged approach to a replayable game. One being multiple endings or multiple choices throughout the game, perhaps playing through a different character's eyes, so different pathways. And then I think you'll see in our list a big thing about replayable games is sandboxability. What do I mean by that, Brian? Well, let me tell you. So with the advent of sandbox games such as GTA, Skyrim, I could go down the list about 1,000 games that are sandbox games. You have a main story in those games, right? But then they're like, how many people have taken time out of GTA to just go on a genocidal rampage and blow everything up and have the cops chase you and run? Like, that's not something built into the game. That's something user generated. And I think that's what creates you going back to games like, I'm going to go to GTA and create some havoc, or I'm going to go into Skyrim and go over to this place I've never been to before. Yep. It's not has anything to do with this narrative. It's your adventure at that point. So I think those are the two biggest for me themes as far as replayable games you want to fire back up. Games on rails, they're great. They can have amazing stories, but you don't really feel like The Last of Us, as good as that was. And I did play through it twice, once on the PS3, once on the PS4. I don't feel like I can.
There's nothing really new.
You won't find anything. You may, hey, I didn't ever see the dead body over here, but it's still kind of a game that kind of takes you from point A to point B, and you don't really. It's like a movie. You don't really need to go watch and play it again to get new experiences.
True enough. I couldn't agree more. That's pretty much how I would sum it up. Mark,
I agree.
You weren't paying attention at all, were you?
Did I nail it?
I was like, no, Brian 100% nailed it. Sorry,
Mark was on his phone.
I was looking at my notes,
wedding stuff,
and realizing that I don't like the order of my top 5 list.
No.
Oh my!
We've got top 5 remorse here on the Frozen North Podcast, guys. You heard it here.
That's what just happened.
Well, we'll let you.
But no,
adjust
it's absolutely. When you have a playground, that definitely increases the replay value.
Yep.
However, not necessarily agree with everything you said. There is a very serious contender on my list that is an on rails game.
Really?
And I would also argue, like, I would say another thing for me is it's a big reason I like JRPGs with multiple characters, getting to play through it almost like with a different play style, because you're switching out your party, you're trying it with different characters.
Yeah.
You're basically completely changing up the way you play the game. I mean, the story ends up the same, you end up doing the same stuff, but the way you approach it is different. And I think that adds replay value as well.
I can agree with that.
So, honorable mentions?
Let me throw out here. I'm gonna throw out I'm
gonna say Fire Emblem Awakening.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before, tons of replay value in that.
I want to say Suikoden 1 because
1 and 2.
I'd say 1 more so than 2, just because it's a really short game and it keeps changing itself up so much that you have trouble losing interest, and it's fairly short. It kind of hits the same territory as Chrono Trigger in that sense.
Yeah.
And it's just the pace is so good that it's easy to jump in and play again and again.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Suikoden 2 is so emotionally brutalizing that sometimes you don't want to go back for a while.
Yeah,
But you do want to go back.
But you do. It's true.
I would say Red Dead Redemption would be one for me. I've only played through it once, but I want to play it again.
It's a great sandbox game.
Yeah, it's just, in the Wild West, running around. And honestly, you could really plug and play any great sandbox game, but there are some that are, I've played Infamous games, and I don't really have the desire to go back and play them.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Assassin's Creed games randomly. While Assassin's Creed games are,
Open world.
in
quotes.
I don't feel like there's a whole lot of, user-driven you can't just go on a murder spree. I mean, you can in Assassin's Creed games, but you get It's not
Not
part
in
of
the
your,
first one.
right? But,
I would not go back and play the first one again.
right. So yeah, there are some sandbox games that are greater than others, but yeah. So that's what I pick out. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get into it. So, I'll start out. My number 5 is the third game in the series Mark was talking about, Suikoden 3. And honestly, when I put this down, I was trying to think of which game I should in the series because I feel like they all offer something.
Right.
I put 3 because it's my favorite one, but as Mark said, 1 amazing for replay, 2 is also really good if you want something heavier. 3, I did it just because you can switch up not only the parties, like I said, I mean, you've got 108 characters to choose from, so you can literally control the difficulty of the game, and put in, try different strategies and get new scenes with different characters you're bringing all over the place, and getting to know all these characters in there. But 3 also has the Trinity Sight system, and while yes, on a single playthrough you will play through everything and see all the events from every angle, as weird as it is to say, doing it in different orders does actually feel different. At least it has the times that I've played it through.
That's true.
So, I mean, I think there's a lot of replay value there on Suikoden 3, so that would be my number 5.
My number 5 is Final Fantasy VII. And I know that JJ, in a way, agrees because he's played this game every year.
Oh, yeah. I played at least once a year.
For a long time.
Yep.
And I played this game for the first time, was it last year now? Or was it this year at the beginning of the year?
It was this year, I'm pretty sure.
It was this year, and I loved it. It was fantastic. I think the way that the story is constructed really lends itself to multiple playthroughs because it's not really explicit in everything that's happening. Mm-hmm. There's so much left up to your interpretation. So playing through it over and over again, and just, I don't know, there's something so nostalgic about it. But that might be me being biased because I had some experience with it when I was a lot younger. But just, going to Nibelheim and...
Oh, right, and this is Final Fantasy VII. It's a freaking Goliath in gaming in general.
It just feels so perfectly nostalgic, and it has so much good hidden stuff in it, too. Like all the different super powerful materials that you can get, the chocobo farming, breeding, going to hidden areas.
Chocobo farming?
Breeding.
You just said?
I changed it to breeding.
Grow your own chocobo.
And I would really like to go and play it again and try and get all the extra content done this time.
Yeah, I like I told you guys before, when it comes out on PS4, the port from Steam, I plan on trying to platinum it.
Same.
So, speaking of which, we have a community set up on PlayStation now. They have communities with the new update. So if you want to join it, we are Frozen North Gaming on there.
Yep.
So
join
check us out.
We're all in here. We're all in the community, by the way.
Yeah, all of us are.
I mean, by the time you hear this.
Are you sure about
You
that?
sure, Mark?
Yep.
You sure?
Out of spite, yeah.
So if you're not, what can we expect?
I mean, a culpa?
I don't know.
Mea culpa?
If not, we're going to make Mark sing a song and we're going to put it up on the internet.
All right, deal.
It's going to have video.
Everyone's going to be disappointed.
But hey, I plan on playing. Maybe we'll sync up, play it at the same time.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, Mark's number 5, Final Fantasy VII. Brian?
My number 5 is the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, but that does happen to show up on the list later, so we will discuss it, why it's replayable then.
And my number 4 is the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. But again, that shows up later on someone else's list.
I wonder whose list.
So we will talk about it then.
So that brings me to my number 4, which is Half-Life 2. Come on, Brian. You don't think an on-rails game has replayability?
I mean, I only played Half-Life.
I put, Final Fantasy VII, I feel like is a really replayable game, but I haven't replayed it yet, so I can't say that for certain. That's why it's number 5. Number 4, Half-Life 2. I've probably replayed this game 5 times.
What makes it replayable to you?
Man, everything. The awesome atmosphere, the physics puzzles, the way the game changes itself constantly throughout the entire course of the game. Like, it was actually designed by multiple teams. Each section of the game by a different team.
I think I played Half-Life 2 twice, but I've only played the episodes like once. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just too much of an on-rails game for me to like go, oh, maybe I missed something.
Oh, but the main game was so amazing.
It was.
The gravity gun, for heaven's sake.
It was. I played it like right when it first came out, and I think I played it like in 2008 8 or 9 again just to refresh it. I think when the episode 2 came out, I replayed everything
I'm
again.
I'm pretty sure I replayed all of it every time
A new episode?
one of the new episodes came out, and a few times before that as well.
Gotcha.
So it's probably one of my most replayed games.
Nice.
And I mean, everyone knows what it is, so I'm not going to go into that.
There you go.
All right.
Brian?
All right, guys. My number 4 is Diablo 3, but this does indeed appear again on a person on the Frozen North's list gaming podcast. So we'll move on and go over to JJ.
Number 3. My number 3 is a game in the Final Fantasy series as well, but it is not a main series title. It is Final Fantasy Tactics.
Wow.
This game is, anybody who has played this game will tell you that they spent so much time with it. There's just so much to do in terms of customizing your party and building people up, learning new abilities, mastering jobs, getting experience. I mean, there's just so much to do in the game, and every time you play through, like every time I've ever played through it, I've only beaten it once, but I've always gone back and like just played it just because I wanted to build a new party. I always experimented with different party makeups, and like, well, I didn't use a summoner last game, I want to try one this time. I didn't use a geomancer last game, I want to give it a shot this time. You know, and you just play through, build your party how you want. You can add new characters. You can not recruit some. There are different battles in there that you can have go one way or the other. I mean, the game is just fantastic. So anybody if you've never played a tactical game, this is probably one of the best to start with, hands down.
Nice.
So have either of you played it?
Nope.
I've touched it.
What did you think?
I thought it was pretty cool, but it's not my cup of tea necessarily.
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Like if you sink your teeth into it, you're gonna have a lot of work to do.
Right.
But it's a really, really great game. Final Fantasy Tactics. Mark, number 3.
My number 3 is Fable 2, and I don't think anyone else has played it here.
I played Fable 1.
I played Fable 1.
Hey, Fable 1 is similar.
I've
Fable
beaten it
2,
twice.
believe it or not. But this game is a lot more. It gets dinged a little bit for being really casual. It's got literally a breadcrumb trail that tells you where to go
Wow.
for quests. You don't really die in the game. You just get knocked down. You get stood back up. But you know what? I really, really like the game, and I like easy games. I've said that before, so maybe that has
This
something
makes
to do with
sense.
it. But it's also a really cool open world playground where you can go and start families. You can have kids. You can actually start multiple families, and if you're unlucky, they can find out about each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You can buy houses. You can change like the rent on the houses. There's hidden treasures that you can go find with your dog and dig up. There's demon doors that tell you riddles that you have to complete in order to get into them for special items. There's hidden gargoyles that you have to I think you have to shoot them in order to get special items. And the best part about the game is the way there's these multiple sliders. Like in the first game, it was just like good and evil. Okay, if you're evil, you look more like this. If you're good, you look more like this. But this had multiple different sliders, like purity versus corruption, good versus evil, attractive versus scary, for instance, and various other ones like that. And everything you did in the game had an effect on those sliders. So, and there's also like physical versus magic as a slider as well, based on just what kind of combat you like to use.
Yeah.
So every time you play through the game, your character changes in completely unique ways, and it's very cool.
Are we going to play the new one when it comes out?
Fable Legends?
Oh, Fable Legends?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a free to play, isn't it?
I don't know. Is it?
I think it is.
Is it already out?
No,
Oh, I was going to say. Yeah, we should check that out when it comes out.
definitely.
Heck yeah. All right. What was that, number 3? Brian, number 3, sir.
My number 3, and I had originally put Grand Theft Auto 4 down, but I /5'd it because I'm playing through 5 right now. Honestly, you could really put any Grand Theft Auto on this list, but I think the main reason is there's just so much meat and potatoes to Grand Theft Auto. Like I said, on 5, I'm playing through the main story, but part of me wants to diverge and just go on a killing spree and just blow cars up and shoot rockets from the top of a building till the cops come, and then hijack a helicopter and fly to the very top of the map, and then skydive down. And this has nothing to do with the story. This is just what brings me back to Grand Theft Auto. There are sandbox games that have amazing stories, but also just Grand Theft Auto 5 in particular is so big. Like going from Los Santos to the desert takes a good chunk of time flooring it in Franklin's souped up racer car get to the desert. So it's got a real sense of scale. Oh, it is just. I plan on once I'm done with the story, just loading up on some guns and some body armor, getting in a fighter jet, and causing havoc.
Solid.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Number 2. My number 2 is Mark. Can't believe. Yeah. Right?
I just noticed
Right.
that.
Yeah. My
Mark.
number 2 is the Mass Effect trilogy, but it shows up later on one other person's list, so we'll talk about it then.
Oh, well.
What in the world?
Mark, number 2.
My number 2 is Elder Scrolls Skyrim, which JJ and Brian also have on their lists. We can now
4 and
talk
5.
about it.
What makes it replayable, guys?
What doesn't make it replayable?
Right, exactly.
The open world.
It's got so much to it.
Yeah.
Skyrim is the game that Fable advertised itself to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go anywhere, do anything. That's essentially what you do in Skyrim. Do whatever the heck you want.
Very true.
You can literally drop 130 hours in that game and not have touched the main story.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Easily. Just doing side content. It's
I think I've got like 60 plus hours in it, and I'm not even halfway through the main plot.
right. Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing that sandboxes bring, especially if you pack them full of stuff. Is just they just give
Yes.
you so much to come back to.
And I actually want to double down on the fact that this game is replayable because of the fact that if you get the PC version, you can get mods for the game. And there are some incredible mods out there, like really good mods.
Yeah.
There's special followers you can get that literally have their own like 10-hour story quest lines you can go on to get them fully loyal to
Yep.
you. It's incredible.
Yeah.
True.
Well, I mean, there's really we won't spend too much time talking about it because it's freaking Skyrim. Chances are you've played it if you're listening, and it reaches out to gamers of all types. You like competitive games, you've probably heard of Skyrim, and you've probably tried it, and you'd be like, well, I like Skyrim, even if you don't like RPGs or anything like that.
Exactly.
You like RPGs, you've obviously played Skyrim. It's freaking Skyrim.
It's Skyrim.
All right. Brian, number 2, sir.
My number 2 is The Witcher 3. It just beat that recently, here's why. I have not played it more than once, but here's why it is so high on my list. About 20 or so hours in, the dreaded XP bug dropped and hit me pretty hard. And not wanting to lose or cheapen the experience. I mean, some people were continuing on with the game. I wanted to stop and start over because I missed a big chunk of experience. And it literally didn't faze me. I was like, oh, cool, I get to try different avenues going back. That was just the very first 20 hours. And this is what solidified it as a replayable game. I have dropped about 140 hours, including the redo in the game, and there is still so much on the map that was question marks that I could go explore. And I remember there are multiple endings. Obviously, it's a Witcher game, and I remember as soon as the credits rolled, the ending was so powerful. I sat there in my chair like, do I want to fire up a new game? And then I realized I've got way too many games to play. But the fact that it almost made me just like credits roll, done, new game, let's do this again, was a power to how vast and sandboxy this world is and how much content and good content is in that game too. Every side quest was fleshed out, voice acted, cutscened. Even some of the innocuous landmarks in the thing would trigger a big event that you would have to do. It was just so much to do that I almost we put another 120 hours into it right then and there to see a different path. But alas, my backlog has been crawling at me. Yeah,
I hear you.
so that's what Witcher 3 is on my list. Number 2.
All right. Number 1s. My number 1 is Chrono Trigger.
Solid.
If there is a game that has stood the test of time, no pun intended.
Oh,
Seriously though, like people still talk about Chrono Trigger. I know I gush about Final Fantasy VI,
Yeah.
but there's not like, I mean, other than, and I've played it 1,000 times over, but Chrono Trigger gives you tons of different endings, tons of different times you can beat the game, multiple party members, different different play styles that you can come out with. You can travel all over the freaking time with it. I mean, there's just so much to do in the game, and it was a Super Nintendo game, and the fact that people still talk about it to this day and still say, my favorite way to beat it is this way. My favorite way to beat it is this way. Oh, I haven't tried this. Blah, blah, blah. Like conversations left and right.
yeah.
For a game that came out in the early 90s to have that kind of an impact still is stellar. So
Definitely.
it could not not be on my list.
It was. I almost put it on my list because last time we played it for the review, I forgot how you pick it up and you get in the zone like you do with Mass Effect. I was just blazing through it. Couldn't even believe. Like, I didn't want to stop playing and go to bed because it's that fun.
The characters are all likable. I mean, it's a fantastic game, and because there is so many different avenues to take in this game, and because it's been out so long, it's on my list. Number 1, Chrono Trigger. Mark,
my number 1 is Diablo 3, which is also on Brian's list. And Brian, why did you put it on your list?
The reason it's on my list is, for me, for replayability, is you have to play. You pick a character and you play through it. It's got a story. It's kind of on rails if you think about it. It's a roguelike, so it's got generated dungeons, but it's one of those games where you want to go back and replay the story as the different character every time.
Definitely
Check out the gear.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't even think about that on my list. There's different character types, and all of them play very different from each other. They're very distinct, and they all have their own unique dialogue throughout the game. Like I played the was it the Crusader that came out with the expansion? Yeah, I played it as him, and he has some like really hilarious, sarcastic dialogue throughout the whole series, and it was a delight because of that dialogue. And I'd love to see what the other characters say during the same situations.
Absolutely, I've beaten the story on a barbarian and a demon hunter, and they do the classes and the gear, the way the gear looks. Per that, it's just so cool to to see what the new play styles are, to get the new gear, see the new dialogue. Mm-hmm. So it's a very replayable game. The only reason it's so low on my list is just because it is an on rails story game where you have to go from point A to point B. But there is stuff.
But
to do.
Have you looked at seasons?
Seasons,
for instance, where every 3 months they restart and you restart your characters. They add new features. There's new seasonal legendary equipment that you can get,
and it gives you a chance to go back and play new characters.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very cool. Blizzard did it right on that one, I think. And what's funny is they did it wrong when it first came out.
Yeah.
So they fixed it. They fixed it.
All right. Number 1, Brian. I think this should come as no surprise.
But before I get into this, I have to look over at Mark. Mark, why is this game not on your list?
Mark, I realize these lists are totally our own opinions, but you're wrong.
I mean, even number 5, Mass Effect, really? You have no desire to ever go play that again.
Well, it's
if it's not on my top 5, then I don't ever want
think
to
about
play
how
it
many
again.
games there are.
That's true.
I don't know, man. I probably could have put it on my list.
Okay, I'm forgiven. You're forgiven. No, it's Mass Effect Trilogy for obvious reasons. The amount of play styles, I guess, in this game. This is one of those games where, again, it's like Diablo 3, not exactly a sandbox game, but more of an on-rails story game with a twist. You make so many decisions throughout the trilogy that affect the later games. This was one of the first game trilogies that actually the games kind of interlocked. They actually affected each other. You could take your saves file over to the games and get those decisions. I've replayed 1 probably 4 times, 2 probably 4 times, and I've replayed 3 twice. I probably plan on playing them again. You learn more about it.
If they remaster them, I'll definitely play through it for sure.
Absolutely. You definitely learn so much about them when you play more than you did. Like you're like, oh, I didn't know that, or I found a little bit more, about the universe, and you get to change up a little bit here and there how you want to play. There's different classes you can make Shepherd. So there's way too much to redo. It's one of those games that really, really promotes going back and trying a different way.
Yep, definitely.
And I've even said that I want to go and replay the game and do a total failure playthrough.
Oh,
where I just make all the worst possible decisions. Let everyone die in the second one.
Spoilers, close your ears. But if you do that at number 2, you can literally go into number 3 with 0 of your friends back.
Yeah. That's pretty much been covered in news headlines.
Right. So you can literally do a complete failure. In fact, I think Shepard can actually die in 2 as well. And you have to start as a new Shepard in the 3rd one. Which that's awesome. That's amazing that you can literally kill off the main character and start as a new main character in the 3rd one to finish it out.
The only problem is just the ending isn't really like your decisions affect the journey, but they don't affect how the game turns out.
Right.
It all comes down
You're
to that
right.
one last decision, anyways, regardless of what you do.
Which color did you pick?
Right.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's such a small part of it. The game is about the journey. It is about going through 1, 2, and 3 and experiencing all these things with the different characters and figuring out where you're going to go next and how you're going to respond to things that are thrown at you from all angles.
And all the relationships that you gain throughout, I
Absolutely.
grew really attached to some of the characters, like the scene with Morden in the third one hit me hard because he'd been such a fun character, when he does the thing at the Krogan factory. It's just, you get so attached to him because they're so fleshed out, all about him. Like even Jacob, who's one of the more less popular characters, you get to go see what happened to his dad at the down at that planet and feel for him.
He's the best character.
Yep.
Anyways,
I'm not about forcing these conversations, Mark.
that's right. It is an amazing series, and I mean, if you haven't played it, you need to jump on that. Even if it doesn't look interesting to you, it didn't to me at
Right.
first. I mean, I've said that many, many times. If I hadn't given it a shot, and I played the first one, and I was like, oh my gosh, if it's going to be like this, I don't know that I'm going to like this. As soon as I hopped into the second one, though, I was hooked.
Massive improvement.
I mean, yeah.
And that's the opening to the second game really starts out where you're like, okay.
Yep, and it's just fantastic, and I cannot wait to go back eventually one day and play through it again. I mean, I know it'll be a while because it's such a time sink.
Oh yeah.
But can't recommend it enough. So Mass Effect Trilogy, Brian's number 1, my number 2. There we have it, our top 5 games with replay value. Anybody else have anything for episode number 72 before we call it?
Mark. There's the other clap.
That's the second one.
There it is.
All right.
Got it.
All right, with that, this is the Frozen North signing off for episode number 72. Again, we want to thank Novastar Gaming for taking the time out to talk with us. Like I said, always great to get up there and hang out with those guys and just kind of hear about what's going on in their world. And can't wait to see what they do for the future of Kansas City and the gaming community here. Without any further ado, my name is JJ.
My name is Mark.
My name is Brian.
And as always, keep
On
Gaming.
Our theme song was made available through the Creative Commons Attribution license by Ziphoid. The song title is Radical Fanfare.